What if I told you that the greatest comeback of your life starts right after your worst defeat? That the very moment you feel broken could be the turning point towards something extraordinary? In this video, we're going to dive deep into how you can transform your mindset, harness your struggles, and attack your goals like never before. It's easy to talk about your dreams, but it's much harder to put in the work to make them a reality. If you're tired of being stuck, tired of feeling like you're constantly in a cycle of procrastination and regret, this video is for you. By the end of it, you'll know exactly what steps to take to evolve into the 2.0 version of yourself, the version that doesn't just dream, but does. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Claim your victory. Here, we believe in constant improvement, and today you're about to make your comeback. So let's get started. There comes a point in every person's journey where being average becomes unbearable. It starts off as a dull discomfort, a nagging feeling that something is wrong, and slowly it turns into a full-on frustration. You look around and see others achieving what you've always wanted, and it eats at you. You're sick and tired of being stuck in the same place, watching life pass by while you do nothing to change it. You've talked about your goals, you've made plans, but when it comes down to it, you don't take action. And deep down, you know it. The truth is that the pain of living like this, the constant self-doubt and regret, is worse than the fear of actually doing the hard work required to change. At some point, you owe it to yourself to stop wasting time. This isn't just about chasing success. It's about making an apology to yourself.
My father's reputation took a hit, and he believed the post was the reason for the setback. My grandparents think what I did was probably not a good move and that there was no need to involve my father, given that it was my stepmom who was being unkind. I now feel somewhat guilty for making that public post and calling out my father and stepmom. Update. Hi, it's been a couple of days since my original post, and I decided to take it down. Some of you have asked why I referred to my dad and stepmom as my parents since it's clear that we don't get along. Well, my dad is my biological parent, and even though I don't like my stepmother, I've known her since I was a child, so I'm used to calling them my parents. It's not anything deep, just a habit. Returning to what I did, I removed the post and unblocked my father to reach out to him. Many in the comments felt I didn't owe anyone an apology, but I thought it was right to acknowledge that I didn't intend for such a severe consequence. I was unaware of the merger's significance to his business. I didn't exactly apologize, but rather justified my actions, explaining that the events of 2 years ago still affect me. It was hurtful to learn that his attempt to reconcile was just a facade for his business associates. The way my stepmom treated me was insulting, which led me to make that post. I sent him a message explaining all this, not expecting a reply. However, he did respond, saying it was fine and that he deserved this after everything he had done. He didn't blame me for my reaction, which was a strange response. I decided to discuss it with my grandparents, hoping they might understand why he seemed to be acting so oddly. I definitely expected him to be at least angry and berate me for what I had done, but nothing of the sort happened. When I asked my grandparents about this, they told me that he had been regretting his actions for a long time, and everything came to a head with my post. They said they had discussed these issues with him recently before I sent that text, and he had expressed how much he regretted kicking me out. He admitted it was his personal choice, but he was confused at the time. My stepmother had convincingly painted my behavior as bratty and awful, which he had believed. However, he started doubting her claims a few weeks after kicking me out, and had never found the courage to make things right with me. Knowing he deserved this reaction, he didn't retaliate or argue when I sent him that text. They also explained that he genuinely wanted to invite me to the vow renewal, and it wasn't just a ploy to impress his business associates, as my stepmother had claimed. In fact, his business associates were not even invited. It was supposed to be a very close and intimate event. He didn't understand why she would say otherwise, possibly to create a rift between us. He had seen the screenshots I posted and realized that my stepmother had a habit of lying. They had hit a rough patch as well. He hadn't heard back from the people involved in the merger yet, so he assumed it was probably called off and was expecting a formal notice later. For now, his personal life is in turmoil, and he's trying to deal with that. After discussing with my grandparents, I'm unsure how to feel. They told me they were proud of me for reaching out, even if it wasn't to apologize, as they believe no apology is necessary due to the misunderstanding created by my stepmother. I had reacted as anyone would have in my place, but still had the courtesy to try to make things right. They appreciate that, but I'm still conflicted. Things have been bad between us for the past 2 years, and not having contact with him initially helped me cope with my emotions. Now, I'm unsure how to process everything. Update 2. Hey, so many comments on my previous update advised me to maintain no contact with my father. I don't think that's the right path for me. I've already broken the no contact rule by reaching out to him after the post, so going back seems impractical. There are still many unresolved issues and unanswered questions I have. I don't think I can go back to no contact without at least having one discussion to get some closure. I don't care if people think I'm weak or foolish. I know what feels right to me and what's good for my well being. I spoke to my grandparents about my feelings and suggested that we should have a conversation with my father. They agreed it was a good idea and are working on arranging a meeting. From what I know, things between him and my stepmother are not going well, and they might be headed for a divorce. I'm not sure yet, but it would be ironic if they were about to renew their vows only to end up separating. Returning to what my grandparents told me, they are in touch with my father and trying to rebuild their relationship with him. They understand that they don't have as much time left as I do and want to make the most of it. They believe my dad is genuinely remorseful for past mistakes. He seems more focused on his failings as a father than on the merger, showing that he's truly regretful. I don't think I've ever tried to see things from his perspective before. My grandparents told me they would speak to him and let me know when we could meet, and I just hope it goes well. Update 3. Hello. 2 days ago, I finally met with my father after 2 years of no contact. We met at my grandparents' house, and it was very emotional. I still can't believe I finally got to sit down and talk to him about everything that had been bothering me and got answers to questions I'd been pondering for so long. He started by apologizing for what he had put me through. He said he knew he had failed as a father and didn't even deserve to be in the same room as me because I had turned out to be a better person than he ever imagined, and he had no role in that, which I don't think is entirely true. To be honest, he was the one who raised me pretty much single-handedly. My stepmother kept avoiding me when I was younger. Our relationship only soured as I grew older, especially with the issues between my stepmother and me. But before that, he had always been a great father. He admitted he made many mistakes, the worst of which was trusting my stepmother over me. He explained he had assumed she was telling the truth because she was older, and he never thought she would lie. When it was just the two of them, she was very convincing and manipulative. He confessed he had been misled and was confused about whom to trust, which led to him making the wrong call. Even after he started doubting himself, he lacked the courage to confront his mistakes and talk to me, which is why he hadn't reached out after kicking me out. He said he was truly sorry from the bottom of his heart, and now it was up to me whether to accept his apology and work on our relationship or not. He told me that even if I decided not to forgive him and go back to no contact, he would be fine with it because he knew he had made a colossal mistake and had to accept whatever decision I made. I also learned that he and my stepmother were heading for a divorce. She had already moved out. After seeing the screenshots I posted, he confronted her about why she lied about the vow renewal invitation. They had a big fight, and she admitted to everything, including lying 2 years ago about the car accident. With this revelation, he could no longer stay with her and filed for divorce. It was hard for me to make a decision on the spot, so I told him I needed time to think. Right now, I'm trying to decide whether to give him a second chance. I know most people might say I shouldn't, but ultimately he's my father and only I can make that decision. As an adult now, I don't rely on him for anything, and he doesn't need to rely on me. After graduating college, I'll have my own job and be financially independent, so that's not a factor here. In case anyone thinks he's trying to reconcile with me just to rely on me later, his business is doing well regardless of the merger. His reputation took a hit, but his sales and numbers did not, so it's clear he's not seeking my support for financial reasons. This is about a purely emotional relationship between a father and daughter. Now, I need to decide whether to work on that relationship. I'm leaning towards yes because he's the only parent I've ever had. Despite the past few difficult years, I can't let that overshadow everything he has done right. I'm still unsure, which is why I'm posting this to get opinions. I genuinely want to make things right and have a real chance at a normal family. Please keep that in mind when commenting. Update 4. So I've decided to try and work on my relationship with my father. We're starting therapy together next week, and I hope it works out. We also plan to rebuild our relationship by communicating more often. My grandparents are really happy about it, and I feel hopeful for the future. I'm genuinely ready to put everything in the past and move on.